Y'all, why was the broom late? And don't answer, Tom, because I know you know the answer. The broom was late because it overswept. Oh, I feel like I always have to implore people to laugh.
You've got us on the floor with that one.
Oh, here we go.
Nowhere to go but up.
A little bit of back and forth. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday on the Daily Huddle, where we talk everything relationships and communications. I am solo today. Tara is traveling to visit her daughter, so we will miss her, but I have a wonderful guest, Laura West. And before I introduce the fabulous Laura West, I'm going to ask a few questions. And I am going to start with Tom. Tom, how are you and who are you going to hug today?
Well, Kathryn, I am the way I say I am. Excited for the day. And I'm going to hug the person who's downstairs from where I am.
That's me. It was a loaded question. I get it today. Thanks, Tom. That's great. And now I'm going to turn it over to Chase. Chase, I would love to hear, where are you and what are you grateful for?
Grand Rising. I am right here in the current space that I'm occupying in this moment. I am grateful for everyone who connects with this call each and every day.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Chase. And we're grateful for you and that you're here today.
Much appreciated.
Thank you for grounding us in the presence of here. And I would finally like to ask Cece. Cece, if you're there, what time is it?
The time is now.
Yes, that's right. So the time is now. We are right here. We are the way we say we are. And I am excited. I'm excited to introduce or reintroduce Laura West. She's been on the show, I think 3 times, maybe 4, but it's been a little bit.
This is my 4th.
Yeah. Is it the 4th? Okay, awesome. Well, this is really exciting. Our question today is, how do you have a truly joyful business? And let me tell you a little bit about Laura, and then I'll tell you how we got to this question. So Laura's passion is knowing that when you're aligned with your business, when you're aligned with your joy and your passion, that you're more innovative, creative, and confident, and success is inevitable, which I love. She's helped thousands of conscious business owners over the last 20 plus years unlock their soul work, personal power, creativity, and leadership presence. Laura is the CEO of the Center for Joyful Business, an international business success coach, and the host of Joyful Business TV. She helps coaches, healers, and purpose-driven entrepreneurs discover their creative leadership inside and out so they create a wholehearted, successful business. She's also the author and creator of the Joyful Business Plan, a right brain creative planning toolkit, success scripting, and creator of hundreds of programs, workshops, and creative tools. And I will post her website in the chat here in just a minute. So welcome, Laura, first. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Any opportunity to talk with you and your community, I'm so excited about. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, when we started talking, this is your gig. It's Joyful Business. That's what you're known for. The color, the brightness, the creativity. That's when I think of Laura West. That's what I think of. Mm-hmm. And when we started talking, I thought, oh my gosh, like Tara and I have been doing a series on joy for the past several weeks, but we haven't tackled joy in your business. Mm. And even before we came on today, it's like, sometimes I think, yeah, I can have joy. Of course, we've been preaching it, talking about it. Yeah, here's how you have joy. But when it comes to business, it's like, maybe not, like not really, like maybe a little bit, but like not really possible. So talk to us about, how do you have a truly joyful business?
Yeah. Well, I think we start with right where you are, which is it really possible? Is that
Mhm.
really? What I find with the idea of joyful business is that it is such a paradox, right? It's such a paradox. It both feels like it's really light, like, oh, let's have fun, all the pretty colors, like let's have the high part of joy, right? And then sometimes it is deep and rich. Like joy actually takes you into those moments of wonder and those moments of spiritual connection, right? Of peace. And so
Mhm.
it's sort of this place that I've been pursuing for about 20 years now. It's kind of like, all right, what is this? But what I knew innately was that when I'm in my joy, like everything else was easier. I had access to like deeper levels of confidence. Like when you're in your joy, it's like you walk into Starbucks to get your drink and you just have a little bounce in your step and you start talking to people. And then next thing you know, they're saying something to you and you get this great connection that makes you feel good and it creates this ripple effect, right?
Mhm.
I also noticed that like I'm more creative. We were talking earlier, I'm writing my book, one of my books, and it's like I have to get myself into the joy place, right? Like expand, so I have to move, I have to dance, do things that you've probably been talking about in the last few um get-togethers, so doing something to physically get myself into that spiritually, mentally, emotionally, myself into that joy energy, because then the creativity flows. Then
Mhm.
it's like I show up more magnetic and that attracts clients, opportunities, like it creates this ripple effect.
Mhm. That's great. I love what you're saying about attraction because there's a lot out there about like client attraction and all of that, which it sounds kind of woo-woo, but when you really break it down to the practical, it's just what you're describing. Don't you want to be around somebody who is like upbeat and positive and bright? And so that is attraction, and it makes you are magnetic, and then suddenly you're in conversations with people and talking about working together, and that's how that goes.
Right. And you're not having to sit there and be in your head, and joy is not in your head. Joy is in
Mhm.
your heart and your soul, right?
Mm.
And so
Mhm.
it's like when you drop down, and we love our head. We love our head, right? We love that headspace, right? And we want to connect it down into our heart so that it's like, and into our soul. So it does come from this place that has energy, right? It has enthusiasm. You dare to share your passion. You dare to ask questions and be curious and create connection, whether you're connecting with yourself, with another person, or you're connecting to your higher source.
Mhm. God, I have so
All of
many
those.
questions. There's
Yeah,
so many
yeah. I know. I can.
avenues to go. Like practices is one, but what keeps coming up for me is like, okay, that's great. But what about this stuff? And it can be if you own a business, if you have a job, like what about the stuff you don't like to do?
Yeah. People always ask about that. They're like, yeah, well, what about that stuff, right? Like it's not possible to be joyful all the time. This is not about setting up this false pretense that, everything is going to be unicorns and rainbows every second of the day, right? We're going to have the stuff we don't want to do. We're going to have the computer that frisses out, the link to Zoom that doesn't work, all the things, the taxes, whatever the things are. Or you get lots of clients and you've got lots of paperwork and you're super busy and you get a little overwhelmed, right? So it's like so much passion and success. How do you handle it? So to me, it's you use the joy the same. And so you get into that joy state. It's like, okay, and you can either go for what is the outcome that is joy, that is going to bring me more joy, like with my taxes, I will get it done. And that's
Okay.
going to bring me more joy. And then you can look at how can you have joy in the journey. And so joy in the journey is I hired an amazing CPA. On that example, like I love my CPA, right? She answers any questions, anytime, anywhere, anyhow. She understands my type of business and, makes something that can be kind of scary and all the stuff, right? She makes it joyful, right? Because I have that connection with somebody that I trust and I enjoy. And so to me, it's you think about the end, but we don't want to always have just the end goal. We don't want to be like, I'll be joyful when I get the relationship, I make the money, I get the client, I get the book done, right? We've also got to have joy in the journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes that means notice I didn't say I have to be joyful doing my own bookkeeping. You know, in that case, it was like, what was bringing me joy? What's bringing me joy is hiring somebody, right? So
Right.
delegating, hiring, things like that. You know, I do something similar where I have a TV show and I have to get myself into the joy to outline it, get myself into the flow to, you know, get my energy up to actually do the TV show. I mean, overall, I love doing it. And gosh, some days it's like one more thing on my to-do list. So I know what you're talking about. And so we can use joy as what I call a creative productivity tool. So I think joy
Ooh.
is the best productivity tool around. That
Ooh, I
get
love that.
ourselves, shift ourselves into that joy, that enthusiasm. It's like, oh, this is what I get to do today. I am so fortunate. I get to be on this show with Kathryn and, you know, and this great community. And
Yeah, I love that. So it's
Good
funny.
job.
It's like, well, we won't go to practices right now, like how to get into the space, but we're there. So, and it's awesome.
Right.
I love that as a creative productivity tool because I love to get stuff done. Like that's kind of, I'm a doer. Like
That's your
I
thing.
love
I knew you'd like that one.
And like, so I struggle to go into the being of like experiencing and, you know, I'd rather just get it done. So,
Yeah.
but the creative productivity tool is like when you are in that space, and we've all experienced it. It just, you get it done and you look over and you're like, oh my gosh.
Right, right. It's so much easier. You're more resourceful, like ideas and solutions come to you instead of just, yes, I just need to get it done, check it off the to-do list. It's like when you stop and you're in that being state of, okay, joy, gratitude, love, thinking about who I get to deliver this to and connect with, then it connects you to this whole, like, it's like this whole well of deeper guidance of ideas, of creativity, of innovation, and even being willing to take a risk, right? Being willing to be courageous on your to-do list means, yeah, new solutions are going to come in. You're going to think of new ideas. It's going to go faster, or it's going to be even better than you imagined. New ideas will come in that you didn't even think of.
Yeah. And I keep just hearing about practices. Like that's the word that keeps coming to mind. Like, cause I always hated it when I was like, well, I'm feeling this way. I'm like a little down. And this was, you need to start a gratitude journal. I'm like, but that doesn't resonate for me. Like, I don't want to start a gratitude journal. So, but I know you talk a lot about being connected to your purpose and your passion. So
Yes.
talk a little bit about, okay, we are right here in the thick of all these practices that we need to do to get ourselves into a space of joy. Because I find a lot of times I just barrel through, just going to keep going and I don't stop.
Right.
So,
and so just to like, there is some satisfaction in getting that done, you know, like check. But it's like, you're also missing that joyful part of the journey that could expand it in all different ways that you might not even realize, you know, like the connection with other people or the connection with ideas. And so taking that time to do those practices beforehand, it can be something super simple, you know, it can be, you know, and I always encourage my clients, they come up with their joy rituals, you know, what are the things that, yes, intentionally, as Florence said, it's like being intentional. So it's like, is it reading with your cup of coffee in the morning or cup of tea? Is it reading something inspirational? Is it listening? You know, this morning I listened to a podcast while I was doing my hair and all that, right? Feeding, you know, my mind, my heart, my soul, you know, with good vibes, right? Good words, creative words. Moving your body. I know you like to run. That is so not on my joy list, but I love to walk and I love to dance. I love to put on music that has me move, you know, things like that. So it's like, some people like to read the Bible. Some people like, you know, there's Wayne Dyer was always my big inspiration, you know, and so it's like journaling, doing the morning pages. So doing all the practices with that intention of, I'm going to let go of what I'm holding on to. That is the friction from keeping me in the flow. Because we need to have that release. Because sometimes, you know, if you're feeling really down low on some of the constricting feelings on the emotional vibrational scale, it's hard to move from hopelessness or extreme anxiety and fear or anger to joy, you know. And so you need to have some of those ways to release that friction so that you can get into the flow.
Well, I think that's a really good point that I think we should highlight, because it's like a ladder. like my therapist shows, like this ladder that you climb up. You don't go from the bottom rungs of the ladder, like say depression, anger, frustration, to, euphoria and joy. You don't, I mean, you can jump a couple rungs, but it's about
That's why it's probably why it's so hard too to do a gratitude practice, because gratitude, love, joy are on the highest vibration.
right.
And when you're down in like, oh my God, overwhelm and doubt or anxiousness or anger and all those things, it's really hard to go up to gratitude. And so
Right.
I always find workarounds with gratitude, because I just find that's too big of a leap for some people. And
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, you got to step it up. And
So it sounds like getting connected, maybe when you are in a good space or not, super far down the ladder, getting connected to what you do love. Because I know I live with a lot of shoulds, like even in the self-development world, it's like, well, you should do a gratitude practice, or you should write every morning, or you should do
it has
this.
its own set of boxes, right?
Right. And getting connected to, like, I love what will get me out quicker than anything is getting out and going on a walk in the woods, just even if it's 10 minutes, because it's moving and so I think it's getting connected to you individually and what really does bring you joy.
Right.
And
yes.
then finding bite-sized ways to do that. I think that's what I'm hearing you say.
Yes. And I get my clients to create a joy menu so that they can see it, right? They've got it next to their bed or they have it next to the computer. And it's like, what are those things? Because we forget, right? We'll sit here and stew in our own doubt or second guessing or anxiety or whatever it is we're experiencing. And it's like, oh yeah, right. I need to go do some stretching. If I just do a few yoga stretches, that'll move the energy in my body. If I go take a 10-minute walk in the woods, oh yeah, that's available to me. If I go drink some water, that moves the energy in my body.
So I think what I'm hearing is that joy in business, as much as I've made it separate and different in some like huge mountain to climb, very different from the rest of my
Have
life.
I not taught you anything?
Before I met you, that is.
Yeah.
But that you're saying it's the same. It's like you're the person who's showing up wherever you go. What's
Right.
the energy you're bringing?
Yes. Yes.
And how do you get yourself to where you want to be?
Yes. Yeah. And it's, again, it's not doing the spiritual bypass where you're like, oh, I must be in joy immediately. Sometimes that can happen, but sometimes you need to do some journaling, or what I call a scribble page, where you just scribble out all the crap along with your nurturing parent who's there with you, who's going to give you kind words. And then you dump out all the stuff that's bothering you and worrying you. Like I do that at 3 a.m. when I wake up, and it's like all this stuff just starts coming in, and you've got your worries and concerns. Sometimes just writing it all out and saying, okay, I can deal with that in the morning. You just got to get it out of your body, out, from triggering your nervous system.
And intention has come up a couple of times in the chat. So how do you hold intention? Like when you sit down, is it I intend? You did say like to get to a better place, to get into flow. But I think for me anyway, intentions can be really different throughout the day. So how do you hold intention in this whole process?
Yeah. Well, I have like a big intention for the year.
Okay.
My big intention for the year is to have a quantum leap with ease and elegance. And so I use that throughout the year.
Okay.
And then I have daily intentions. And, daily intention, it's like I connect in, I look at, all right, what do I have going on today? And it's like, usually it is, how do I connect with joy? Or how do I call in my creativity? How do, do I want to be grounded? And I bring those words in. I usually have 2 to 3 words of, okay, today I want to be grounded and in the flow of creativity. So that's a common one for me. And setting that intention, like we are powerful with our energy, with our intention and our attention. And so I'll do a sticky note, I'll do an index card, because I'll forget it in a couple hours. Right? And so I keep that there right here. I'm pointing to my computer, keep it right there to remind me of that. And then having an intention to shift to a more resourceful energy, right? A more resourceful energy is like joy, right? What is a more resourceful place? Because when you find that more resourceful place, and you want to set your intention for it, because your intention is powerful, right? And then as you get into that more resourceful place, that place of joy, oh my gosh, you show up on Zoom differently, right? You show up to all those meetings you're going to differently. The conversations, the connections, the ideas that come, it just opens up a whole doorway of more creativity, more confidence, more power.
So I want to get to questions in just a second, but I keep having this burning question of like, okay, what if you just can't get there? Like you just can't get there. Like, is it okay to sit in the muck for a minute, or do you just have to keep trying? Like, what's your stance on that?
Yeah, no, there's some days where I'm always about, I was talking about the nurturing parent, right? The nurturing parent is a part of you, or I call it your nurturing wise self, right? That part of you that you can call on who is going to tell you the truth, but with lots of compassion. So
Mhm.
I like to bring that part in. Again, I'll do the scribble journal. It's not about trying, it's about releasing. And I think there's a distinction
okay.
there. So like trying is like, I got to get into joy. Like that's so not going to happen. So not going to happen, right? You know, or I should be getting into joy, right? Because I'm a coach and that's, oh my God, my name is Joyful Business. I got to be in joy, right? I
Right.
want that pressure, right? And so I find that compassion, forgiveness, just accepting, those are a lot of the softer doorways in,
Okay.
is to just be able to say, here's what's going on today. Yeah, I'm kind of nervous because I know I have some clients. Summer energy is going down. I've got my kids coming on summer vacation, getting off of school. Like whatever the things are that are keeping you from that, you need to acknowledge it, because otherwise they're going to be there hovering, just waiting to grab you by the ankles and put some shackles on.
Right. Such a good point. Right. I love it. Thank you so much. I think we have a special guest. Janine just joined us. Hey, Janine. Thank you, Laura. I want to go to questions and see what
Janine.
we
Oh,
got.
hi, Janine. Our Janine.
Yeah, our Janine. I know. Tom has his hand raised.
Well, thank you, Kathryn. Laura, good morning.
Hey, good
It's
morning.
always very insightful when you come on and talk. My question is, you know, at even a more basic level, what holds us back from embracing joy in business? Now, I think a lot of what you're saying, it sounds like the presumption is that the person wants to have joy in business. But as I'm hearing you talk, I can feel myself like this level of reluctance or almost inertia, like I'm in my work environment. And I probably don't even have the awareness that, hey, I can have joy here. I can be my full self while I'm at work.
Right.
So I guess I just wanted to explore that question with you. You know,
I love that. Yeah, it's a
aspects
great.
of what holds us back.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's a couple things that holds us back. One thing, the very first thing is like you're not even aware, right? So I think developing that awareness by having these conversations, that is like a can opener to say, oh, this is even possible. Like, really? Is it possible? Because we haven't had the framework and the structure containers around business are not around joy. You know, my first husband, I was married to a banker, and this is like, 20 some years ago. And I'd go to his Christmas parties and people would be like, what do you do? What's your business? And I'd say joyful business. And they all just, what? Like, they just couldn't even comprehend. So I think that first step is awareness. And then finding that, like, okay, could it be different? Like, is that possible? So joy is not the ultimate end all thing, right? It's like, well, I do want to be more creative. I want to feel good at work. Right? I want to feel better. I want to feel well used. I want to feel like I'm using my gifts. I want to be generous and helping people. So those are the sub things that we go into behind joy, because joy in itself, it does feel really good, but oh, okay, I'll do that after work. Right. But to think that during work, when you start thinking about, oh, what if I approach my day with generosity? What if I approach my day with, I get to use my gifts, which is going to feel really good. Right. What if I get to help people?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. So, and I work in banking, so I can identify.
I forgot about that.
With that,
you can relate,
very dialed back, mindset. So, yeah, awareness and then intention, and with the intention, it's
and
you're
here's the
really
thing,
shaping your mindset.
Yeah, when you start working on it for yourself. This is the thing about having a joyful business. It's like you can do this no matter what environment you are in. And so when you work on that for yourself, it's like, yeah, well, I'm going to play a little music. I'm going to put flowers, or I'm going to put some things in my environment that make me feel good, right? That raises your level, your vibration to more joy, right? I'm going to, like, for me, it's a cloudy day. I'm going to turn more lights on. And I have fun fairy lights and things that make me happy. Right. So that raises your own vibration. You don't have to go out and say, I'm going to spread joy everywhere and everybody must, all of a sudden we're going to have this whole joyful environment. But by you showing up, you're going to start changing the environment.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, that is great, because that's what I find sometimes is when I get sucked in, I mentioned it earlier, sucked in, and I'm like down on the ladder on the rungs, and I'm just like, oh my God, but what you're describing is like, and I'll do this sometimes, is just take a moment. I say it all the time, like I'll go lay on the couch for 5 minutes. It's like, I need bite-sized pieces, because
Yes.
my head gets super like, I've got to go, like you said, spread joy everywhere right now.
Right. Right.
Not happening. Yeah.
Well, and part of it comes back to what is your soul's divine purpose, And so to me, that's something we sort of alluded to, but it's when you have a desire to get clear about what your soul's divine purpose is, then you're going to find out, like you're going to find your natural ways for how joy is going to show up, how you're going to use your gifts and talents in the world. So for some people, it might be helping them with financial success. For some people, it's productivity, or like, you're amazing at scaling and thinking bigger, and so using your gifts in a way that's aligned with, to me, that's an alignment with your purpose, is also a doorway in for more joy, right?
And you talk about, you tapped into it there, but how do you say it? Your beautiful brilliance?
Your beautiful brilliance. Yes. Yeah. Your beautiful brilliance. This is the part about owning your gifts, and that we all have this whole treasure chest inside us of your strengths, your natural talents, your learned talents, your expertise, your passions, your fascinations, the gifts from challenges that you've gone through, your personality quirks or your weirdness that makes you unique and different. All this whole little, it's like your own little treasure box. And the more that you can look at that and discover it and own it, and then you start using those gifts, it feels so good to use our talents, our strengths, our passions, right? That's another way that joy shows up in business.
And do you think we're wired, back to Tom's sort of first part of this question, do you think we're wired not to go this way? Are we wired to sort of?
Yeah, I think we're all the studies that I look at is we're naturally wired to be, scouting for the fear, where is the danger? Where's the danger? I've got to protect. And that was something that was really helpful back in the day when there were bears and tigers and, things that we were scared of, avalanches, whatever the things. But it's like our nervous systems don't need that. We don't need that level of protection anymore. And so now it's like, what do we do with that energy? So now we're all looking at how can we rewire, create new neural pathways. And this is why I love that you call it a practice. It is a practice. It's not like, okay, every day I'm going to be joyful from here on out. It's a practice, right? We've got to create new pathways that say it's okay to be in joy, right? Because I think a lot of people are afraid to be in joy, that somehow it's going to come crashing down, somehow. And so the more that you actually are in that place of, yes, everything is going to change and I can be in joy at the same time. Yes, everything is going to change and I can still choose joy.
Right. Reminding ourselves that we really are safe right here and right now.
Yeah. Yes. And coming back to that present moment. I do that all the time. Coming back to that present moment right here, right now, everything is okay.
I love that. You've given us so much to think about. I can't believe that this has gone 30 minutes. It's like a flash. But leave us with a challenge. Leave us with something, some goodness we can walk away with and we can implement today. What would you tell us? We're your newbies. We're just learning about this for the first time, or maybe we're experts at it, but what would you tell us?
Right. We still need the reminders, right? I think the one thing, and we talked about this, is going back to that place of reframing and saying, what do I get to do today? Like, what do I get to do? And like, just even the thing that you have to do because there's a deadline, it's like, I have to do my TV show today, and I can say, oh, I have to do my TV show. But if I say I get to do my TV show, it all of a sudden it activates something different within me. And all of a sudden I start thinking about my posture even changes. So if you can play with, like, over the next few days, I get to do this whenever you're thinking about something, and just see how it changes.
Okay. So shift our language and use the phrase, I get to, just whenever we can, just remember, I get to. Okay. Yes. That's our challenge. Peeps. Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this. This is awesome. It's such a good reminder. and the practice piece, and that they can be bite-sized pieces, and that we can actually take joy everywhere and into our business, because our business, our work is just an extension of us. We are the ones showing up there.
Absolutely. And joy is magnetic. When you are in that positive magnetic place, that's where the clients, the opportunities, the books are birthed. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Well, right now I get to close us out with the 7 tenets of the Daily Huddle. So thank you everybody for coming today. And I am going to start where we always start, almost always, with love. Love with your whole heart. Give a hug, we're going to go to give, which is give of your resources, your time, your energy, your efforts, and your gifts, just like you did today with us, Laura. And relax. Actually, joy does help you relax, and relaxing helps you get to joy. That'll help you stress less, and eat mostly plants. Your body will appreciate it, will help you to sleep, get those 7 hours. And most of all, move that body. We'll see you all next time on the Daily Huddle. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Really appreciate it. Oh, there's Tom. Say hi.
Thank you, everyone. And good job.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Cece.
One love, happy week.
One love, guys. One love.
One love, Rashida.